Welcome to the Fantasy Football Garage. I'm Chris the Candyman, and you already know what time it is. We're drafting best ball teams, closing out tournaments. We've maxed the Hound, we've maxed the Schnauzer. Of course, the puppy is gone. The puppy but Superflex is here. Tonight, we're going to get right into it with the third and final pug draft. So after the intro, I'm going to be entering right into a 20-second pug. If you've got one left, if you want to jump in, come on in. If you're new to the channel and if you're watching this later, hit the subscribe. I'm on a goal to hit 500 subscribers for the channel before the start of the NFL season, and I think we can do it. We're going to be drafting best ball teams all summer long. We're not even at the peak yet. We're just getting started. We're about 100 post NFL draft, best ball drafts in. We've been doing eliminators, having all sorts of guests on. We've got a lot of great stuff coming. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be streaming with none other than Who Hames on the channel. He's going to be guesting on the channel. We're going to be doing Superflex Puppies on Monday night. Of course, we've got the Ballsy show, 8:30 p.m. Central with Bindles. And we'll be putting out the official announcement tomorrow, but I'll let you guys in and let you know here first. Our guest for Ballsy this week is going to be Greg from the Coach Speak Index. Super sharp guy. Great idea. Took the fantasy landscape by storm. Excited to have him on. Excited to draft with him. Talk with him about what these coaches are speaking about. And here's some of his player takes too. So it's going to be a great stream Monday night. Make sure you're here for it. I'm going to have Cody from Off the Schneid on Tuesday night. So starting the week off strong. And you're going to want to come and draft with us, get in the chat, get your questions answered, be active, stick around. Let's hit the intro and get into some drafts. But overall, it's like the guy can ball. Like actions speak louder than words. Yo, yo, yo. What up, Anthony? How you doing tonight, my man? Get in the circle. If you don't know what Anthony's talking about, the circle of trust. Let me just break it down real quick. Let me just show you what I'm talking about. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one is also accurate, though. Like and subscribe. Let me show you what we're talking about here. And I think I could probably update the circle of trust, but it's still pretty applicable. Boom. The circle of trust. The circle of trust includes anyone who subscribes to the channel. You're going to want to be in the circle, okay? If you're not subscribed, you're outside of the circle. Get in here. You got me, the subscribers, other favorites like Jaden Daniels. Did you know that he was subscribed to the channel? Bet it would surprise you. He's in the circle of trust. A guy you can trust, a guy you're going to want to draft in fantasy football for 2025. Some other popular names in there. We got to update the list, but it's all coming together. You know, if that doesn't do it for you, does this get you across the finish line? To hit that subscribe, turn on notifications, come draft with us. We've been ripping drafts. Had a ton of great guests on in the last week too. Had Nick Bach on last night. Sean Mitchell earlier in the week went on the Fanspeak Network for Jeopardy, which was super fun, against my main man, Hartman, who's also in the chat. What up, Hartman? And he's come on the channel in the last week as well, too. We've drafted a ton of teams, having a great start to Best Ball Summer, and we're just getting started. So come get in the chat, say what up, draft some teams with us. Let's get right into it. We got Pud Daddy in here. What up, Pud Daddy? I see you knocking down those eliminators. You wild man. I gotta play catch up on the elims. I want to get on your level. Yeah, Hartman, my dog. We got Tyler in here. Emo Cowboy. How you doing, my friend? How's your weekend going? What are you guys up to this weekend? How's your Saturdays going? I've been chilling, haven't done any drafts yet today, so I'm eager to get into it and doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. What up, Zeus? Yeah, I'm going anywhere Tom Hanks is going, to be honest. That's what I'm saying. All about it. Probably my favorite actor. At least top 3 all time. I still love this. Appreciate it. Yeah, I got to update. I've got some more things I got in there. One of the I keep forgetting to upload it. I've got this hit list. It looks just like this one. Boom, with Steve Buscemi, but from Billy Madison. It's this one, but I've updated it to have all of the stacks that I want to get. So like a Burrows double stack, Dak Prescott double stack, Jaden Daniels double stack, Michael Penix Jr. double stack, all of the QB stacks. I got them on there, a Stroud double stack, but I got to remember to upload it. I don't know. We can cross them off. Actually, what I'm going to do is after this pug, I want to go through my 27 best ball manias and keep some tallies of some of the builds that I've done or haven't done yet. Maybe that'd be a good chance to go over to bestballoverlay.com. We might have to check that out. That could be a great segue to get over there and check some things out. What up, Reflect the Sun? How you doing? Get in the circle. It's so fun in here. Yeah, Hartman, a drafting machine. Not only today, every day. He's in here getting it. I caught some of his stuff. Crushed some Indian food, double date, ramen double date last night. Very nice. Having a blast. Hope weekend has been good to you. Yeah, man, doing great. Went to a 3-year-old's birthday party out in Tomball today. Touched some grass, hung out in the backyard. It was princess themed, none other, but there were cold beers in the ice chest, had the Astros on, catching up with some buddies. So it was all good. Some Indian food. Yeah, nice. Tons of good. And a ramen date too. That's fun. Tons of good food here in Houston. Big foodie town. Love getting me some good Indian food, and I don't mind some ramen either. Yeah, Hartman's been killing it. Love to see you out there drafting earlier today. Some sharp stuff. Yeah. Reservoir Dogs Buscemi. We gotta. That one would be a screenshot, and it would just say, it'd say, "What do you mean you don't tip?" And it would be this Steve Buscemi character like trying to explain why he's not subbed to the channel or something like that. We'll work on it. We'll do some. We can, throw out some ideas in the chat. We'll workshop it live. But I want to get into this 20-second pug. I've only got one left. So what do you guys say? Have you maxed the pug? Do you have some bullets left? I'm going to go ahead and enter this one in 5 seconds from right now. So if you want to jump in, let's get it. It's a $12 draft. There's like, what is it? It's 18.6 thousand entries, 200K total prizes with 40,000 up top. If you finish in the top 10, you'll get 2,000. So for maxing at about, $36, you make that back as long as you finish in the top. I guess you have to make the semifinals, essentially. And then it's a 124 seat final. So one of these smaller tournaments. I know Hartman has finished his earlier today. Very nice. When do you think Pug fills? So I was listening to Numi talking tonight. Numi was on Pete Overzet's Best Ball After Dark, and he was dropping some intel I'm going to share with y'all. Some insider stuff. The Pug is going to fill next week. Based on the pacing of it, it's going to be filled by next Sunday, right? We've got some new tournaments dropping next week. So get ready. And I can't officially confirm or deny which tournaments, but I'll throw out that I heard rookies and sophomores might be coming out at some point soon. I don't know if it'll be June. I don't know if it'll be July, but it's definitely in the queue. There's going to be, I think the Puppy Butt Superflex is going to hold down the puppy spot for a while. There's potentially going to be some other tournaments coming back on soon. So who knows what size, but there's tournaments in the queue. There's things that are going to be coming out soon. There's going to be more. Like, I think once the Schnauzer is going to fill in the next 24 hours, most likely the Pug's going to fill by next Sunday. But the Pug is a $12. There's going to be more $3 and $5 contests in the lobby soon enough. So, little inside intel for you guys. Oh, nice. Yeah, you'll definitely have time because I think because it's a 3 max, it makes it a little bit harder to fill because the sickos can't just keep jamming it, jamming entries, right? So that naturally slows it down just a little bit. Yeah, that'd be nice. Get in there in the early AM stream. I bet they fill up. This one's filling decently fast. Waiting on one person for a 20-second pug. Boom, there it goes. Disbanded. What up, brother? How you doing on this Saturday night? What are you guys up to this weekend? Just drafting, super flexes, eliminators. You finishing out these tournaments? I'm in the 9 spot for my last pug. I reviewed my earlier pug teams before I jumped into this one. No notes. I'm just going to keep taking the best players available, building out strong team builds. I think in my Schnauzers, I was leaning. So I did my last Schnauzer last night, but I got a bunch of them that are still finishing up on slows because I just wanted to get them in, and I thought it would honestly feel faster than it did, but it's fine. A lot of my Schnauzers ended up being, I wouldn't say a lot, but more than I usually do, are coming out as hyper fragile teams, and I freaking love them. So it's definitely a build that I'm considering doing much more often in this current 2025 landscape than I did last year in 2024. Last year, I hardly did any hyper fragile. I just felt like getting 5 running backs made sense, and I did a ton of 0 RB and mostly hero RB. This year, I'm doing, I'd say, more equally weighted to like robust RB or other combinations that, mixing those in as well. But the hyper fragiles are really fun. And maybe not even robust RB, but what I mean is just taking like 3 or 4 running backs through the first 8 rounds. I don't mind it with the way the ADPs are right now. Winning the flex. What up, Nick Bach? How you doing? The Greyhound. That was one, right? The Greyhound, was that one that Numi said tonight was coming out? I couldn't remember for sure. That would be a fun one. What was the size of the Greyhound? The Greyhound is this? Am I getting it confused? The Greyhound was the single entry, or maybe it's like 2 or 3 entry, but isn't that a higher dollar one? What's the format for those? And then let me go ahead. I'm going to turn it down low. No. Yeah, this is the one I want. All right, 20-second clock. I'm on Raw. Let's get it. I can't stop drafting Lions. I won't stop drafting the Lions. If the Vikings-Lions Week 17 game's a dud, I'm gonna be losing these tournaments because I can't stop drafting Lions players, Vikings players. Yeah, the Greyhound's that single entry $35. That sounds right. That'll be fun. I did hear him talking about that one. I was multitasking. I must have just like missed the part, but the single entries, because it levels the playing field for a lot of people, was the comment. I had a golden. I don't think it was last year's golden. I think it was a golden in 2023. That was a Josh Allen solo QB build that got to the semifinals, but it didn't make the finals. But it was wild. I don't know why I did it. I think I just like drafted it on a whim. Nice. I need to adjust my ranks just a little bit because I keep missing out on Drake London, and I don't want to be completely out on him. I almost took Bowers there because I don't want to be completely out on Bowers either. But Namonra, Drake London start. Nothing too unusual there, but feels pretty strong. Two of my favorite Week 17 games. I also really like the home game in Atlanta on Monday Night Football. The Falcons taking on the Rams. That could be just a great game, a nice little shootout. And there's a certain two players that typically go around pick 33 plus range that I think would fit nicely with the Drake London. So I have my best ball overlay open to all of the tournaments right now. Let me make sure that's true. Yeah, all tournament combos. I just uploaded my CSV right before I went live. So this is what it looks. This is what it looks like when I get a Monra. I'm usually going Brian Thomas, T-Mac, Addison. I don't think I've got any with Drake London because I don't have a whole lot of Drake London teams. And then when I look at what I got for Drake London, only 2 teams so far, which is wild. But I need to get more, and somehow both of them are with CeeDee Lamb. So what that means was I've had Drake London just kind of ranked behind his ADP for too long. And the only time I'm getting him is when I get like a CeeDee Lamb in like the 5 or the 6 or the 7 spot, and then Drake London falls a little bit. So probably should move him up just a bit in my ranks. It's hard to do though. Well, who do you move him ahead of? Achane, McConkey, Derrick Henry. You got to fade somebody. Maybe it's Derrick Henry, Bowers. Yep. And then I've been moving around my players in the 3rd round a lot in my rankings lately. I don't know. Does Tyreek have a bounce back season, or has he fallen off? Devontae Adams has not fallen off. He's been consistently good. I think he still can score a lot of touchdowns, so I still rank him pretty highly. And then I've been hearing a lot of hate on JSN lately. I was higher on JSN before the Geno Smith trade, and I don't know how I feel right now. I'm hearing a lot of people kind of down on JSN, and I'm going to take Terry McLaurin ahead of him. I'm going to take Rashee Rice ahead of him. I'm probably going to take Garrett Wilson ahead of him just because I prefer to have the option to stack Garrett Wilson later with Justin Fields. With JSN, it's just not the sexiest pick because they're going to run the ball a ton. Their new coach that's coming in there, what's his name again? Mike McDonald is a defensive coach. He's going to be wanting to run the ball, manage the clock. Ken Walker is going to get a good amount of work, and then there's Sharps there too. So on the clock, Devontae Adams, easy click. And we'll see who comes back around for this 4th round. Yeah, I would agree disbanded. I definitely want pieces of the Falcons, which is crazy though, because I've got a slight fade on Bijan and a slight fade on Drake London. So I'm all Mooney. I'm heavy Mooney bags right now. I don't want to be out on Bijan, but I'm taking Gibbs ahead of him. I have seen Bijan going in the 1 and 2 spot a lot more lately. It's pretty wild in this room that he goes in the 101. But I have been seeing Bijan going in the first 2 or 3 picks pretty frequently in the last 2 or 3 days, which I don't know how to explain that. Otherwise, yeah, I just need to get more London. I probably would have considered taking Kyren, although it's not always great to have two players on the same team. I think the Rams could just carry the talent. I also would have taken T-Mac there. Let's go back to the board. It could be Breece Hall easily for my anchor. I think that's what I'll do here. It makes a lot of sense. Love JMO. I'm going to go Breece Hall, though, as long as he's there. I'm back in on Kyren. I'm not out on Kyren yet. I moved Kyren up in my ranks a little bit. He's just a touchdown machine. Even if they start to give Jarquez Hunter some of the snaps, Kyren was number one in opportunities among running backs last season. We were looking this up last night. Or was it? Yeah, was it last night? I think it was last night or 2 nights ago. I think it was last night. One of the teams, I think it was on the eliminator that Nick and I drafted last night. We had a Saquon Kyren start with who was the wide receiver we got? I can't remember who the wide receiver we got in round 2 was. I think it was McConkey, right? And we were looking up, like, Saquon had more touches, but Kyren had more. He had a larger share of total plays go to him. I think that's the way to describe it. I had to pull it back up, but Kyren was number one among running backs in opportunity, and yeah, he's getting all of the work, getting all of the snaps. I like Breece there. Yo, what up, JT? How you doing tonight, man? Hope you're having a good one. What are you drafting? Yo, what up, Chicken Noodle Town? And yes, this is my laptop right now, actually. So I've got the best ball overlay up on my laptop. It doesn't work on the phone, but it is a Chrome extension is how it works. And so you can go to bestballoverlay.com. You can check it out. You can download, subscribe. And then they're also updating the website right now. I saw BBG was premiering it, so I think it's possible. I need to check it out. Maybe after this draft, like I said, we can check it out, see what my team combinations are. But there's free tools on the website too. But that's what you're looking at here is the best ball overlay with my week 16 and 17 matchups, my current all tournaments exposure since the NFL draft, and then I've got all of my player combos right now. So who do I take when I take Breece Hall? And then if we pan over, we can go back to Adams, right? So I've got 9 Adams teams, 13 Breece Hall teams. I'm pretty high on. Drake London, only 2. Need to get more. Amon-Ra, right at the field kind of percent, 8.6. Need to find a way to get more Amon-Ra, but it's kind of hard to get overexposed to someone in the first round without outright fading somebody else. That's right. I think so. I just don't know. You think he can carve out a role without the injury to Ken Walker? And I know he had a lot of touchdowns last year. They're still going to run the ball a ton. Ooh, a George Pickens falls to me. I love it. I'm going to take him here every time. Big fan of George Pickens this year for best ball and in general. So I don't see him fall to 57 a lot. I've been seeing George Pickens go in the 49 to 54 range mostly. Look, what happened here is you see, I guess nothing too unusual. Just Chuba and Ken Walker go a bit early. Chris Godwin goes a bit earlier than he typically does. And then you get George Pickens. Addison could have been nice on this build with the Amon-Ra. Got some other outs. Okay. I might take Alvin. I'm not out on him at all. I'm definitely still in. That's what I'm going to do. It'd be him or Travion. I've done a bunch of Travion combos. I still have a lot of Kamara as well, but welcome to the squad. Started off this one. It's a 20-second pug draft. My 3 out of 3 while I max it. 2-4 build with Breece Hall, Alvin Kamara, Amon-Ra St. Brown, Drake London, Devontae Adams. So I already have my week 17 game stack. Feels nice. And then George Pickens, a little value there. Sliding, what is that? 4 spots, but it feels like it's more than that. I feel like I've been waiting to get George Pickens for a while now. And if I look at my combos, I looked at Kamara. I've got Kamara with Amon-Ra on a puppy. Whoop. I guess I don't have him with Pickens yet. Like I said, I don't have him with London. And then Adams, I'm sure. Oh, actually, I'm surprised that I don't have him with Adams either. That's pretty rare, I guess. And then Hall, I'm sure I do. Brees Hall. Got him on a few teams. Looks like 2 Schnauzers and a BBM, if I had to guess. Makes sense. Let's get back to the board. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. I've got a player in mind at pick 81 who could be there. I don't have to take, but I do have ranked there and would fit nicely on this team considering I feel pretty good at both running back and wide receiver up to this point. I'm just going to see what value falls. Joe Burrow goes finally at pick 68 to the team that just felt like drafting Joe Burrow. Typically what we're going to see these days. Joe Burrow's ADP continues to fall. Yeah, I've been loving Mooney at his price. I was drafting him aggressively when he was in the 90s. Now that he's in the 80s, I still like him. Exactly. It was Lad. I knew it. It all came back to me. I was reviewing that team actually. When I posted it out on Twitter, I was looking at it. It's a pretty good looking team. But I guess we had Lad, so then we felt cool to take QJ with the last pick at receiver. Thad. In on JSN, notoriously out on Rice. Not a fan of Rice. Hilarious to me though. When that are you drafting a ton of Worthy? Like, how do you play it? Are you just fading the Chiefs? I think you must be on Worthy then, right? Yeah, Kyron was this monster at getting snaps. I'm liking it. It's my first year using it. I'm liking it. I'll say that. Okay. I could take Hawk, but I feel like I could push around the corner too. Diggs is still there. I think it's the obvious click is Diggs, and then Mooney's still there. I wouldn't mind Pollard. Let me get Diggs. Gives me another really nice wide receiver option. Building the game stack for week 17 against the Jets. Considering I've got Brees Hall, why not? Pacheco goes, Pollard goes. I'm tempted to see. I'm interested to know if someone's going to take Hawkinson here, or if I can get him at 88. I see him fall sometimes. If I can get Mooney at 88, I'd be ecstatic. Otherwise, I honestly don't hate the Cup pick. Cup hasn't fallen off. The Cup hate's gone too far. It's something I'll try to convince you of if you want to debate it. If you've got a strong stand against Cooper Kupp, he was decent in the games he played last year. Hawkinson's there, Mooney's there. Now I'm conflicted. I'm going to go Hawk. I almost took Hawk with my last pick. It's tough to skip out on Mooney. I've got a lot of Mooney teams. Could have gone for the double stack with Penix, London, and Mooney. Already had the Adams bring back. I'm sure it would have been amazing. I do feel like I'm really strong at wide receiver. I could just roll with these 5 for now. Doesn't hurt getting a semi-elite tight end. Hawkinson's probably the first tight end that's not truly elite, but I think he does separate from the others. Actually, no, I'd put him in the tier with Andrews and Kelsey pretty comfortably. He's just the most expensive one because he's younger. And I think what we saw, the dip in his production last year, was all related to coming off of that ACL late season in 2023. So Hawkinson should bounce back pretty strong. I think they're going to use him a lot, lean on him a lot. Maybe Addison, when Addison's suspended, he gets used even more. And then could just be a guy you need in the playoffs. That's the only reason you take a tight end this early. And potentially to stop it too. Yeah, no doubt. I knew you'd like that one. I got the Pickens pick just for you, Thad. That was quite a while ago, but I was into it. Mooney slides to 94. Someone got really lucky in this one. Yeah, man, check it out. 8% Rice, a lot of Worthy and a lot of Hollywood. That's what it is. You're a Hollywood guy. I know. I could have gone Mooney. I've got so much Mooney. This is a Drake London team, though. I think I'm going to play it that way. And I don't mind just doing the single stacked Penix to London and maybe just spreading out my bets to some other, teams. There's not that many Minnesota pieces left after Hawkinson. It would have been Aaron Jones, who I think already went. Yeah, he'd already gone. And then it'd be Jordan Mason, who I love, and I could still definitely take Mason with this next pick. He can, definitely weekly. Yeah, wouldn't be the first time. So I'm in. He's a bit younger than Andrews and Kelsey. Maybe I don't know about Andrews for sure. I think he's a bit younger than Andrews. Definitely younger than Kelsey. Okay, I don't think I go Fields here, but I could. I'm not going to. I've done it plenty of times. I'm gonna go Jordan Mason with this one. Oh, just not Caleb. Do I take Goff though? Is the real question. Where did the JMO drafter go? I think I'm good. Let it go Jordan Mason. And then the Jameson Williams drafters over here, Laporta drafters over here. No one's going to take a naked Goff on me in this one. Come on. I feel pretty good about this corner. They've been doing some normal things. He's already got Lamar Jackson playing it that way. He takes Bateman early. It's a good sign. So he's stacking up. This is a very logical corner. Picks 10, 11, 12. I've got the 9th pick. And like I said, I've taken a ton of Jordan Mason. If you remember, Jordan Mason was a top 3 running back through like the first 6, 7, 8 weeks, just behind Saquon and who was the other guy that was in the lead? Who was the other one? I can't remember now. I just had it. It'll come to me. Behind Derrick Henry and Saquon. Yeah, only Derrick Henry and Saquon had more rushing yards than Jordan Mason through the first 8 weeks of last season. Jordan Mason went down with an injury. I think it was week 14, or no, it was earlier than that, week 12. So some people forget. I think Jordan Mason is one of the best picks on the board right now. Definitely the best ambiguous backfield running back. Definitely the best RB2 running back, if you're going to call him that. Honestly, Aaron Jones is not bad, though. Aaron Jones scored a lot of points per game last season, but he could lose some work to Jordan Mason, and Jordan Mason is going to be definitely a better runner, but more efficient rusher, better at converting goal line touches. So I'm way in on Jordan Mason. Yeah, that's a good point. The playmaking ability's there. He's a good target for a young quarterback as maybe not only like a safety valve for dump offs, but then just for play action passing and those kind of really structured pass attempts, kind of first read, second read type of guy. Obviously, you got Justin Jefferson, so I think McCarthy he's going to be in a great environment to do well, just like we saw with Sam Darnold last year. What up, Steve? How you doing, brother? Hope you're having a great Saturday night. I see you've been firing off on these super flexes quite hard. I still got to read the article that you put out from, I think it was Friday. I got to catch up and read that. I'm about to do some super flex drafts with Who Hames tomorrow night on the channel. So I'm going to brush up read your Superflex article from the Fanspeak Network the Substack subscription. And I'm excited to look into that. Yeah, so they're not too different, but those 2 years makes a difference. Yeah. Yeah, Andrews is in the better offense, and Andrews did have a career high in touchdowns last season. What up, James? How you doing tonight, brother? I will say I still am very high on Mark Andrews. He's probably been undervalued this whole entire summer so far. So I could do Drake May here. It'd be pretty sweet, I think. What else do I need on this one before I forget? Nothing really. I'm going to Drake May. I don't think Kyle Williams will be there when I pick again, but I could just stop at these 2 QBs and feel fine with it. Oh, you know what it was? I just remembered. And let me let you in on a secret. Never try to push Michael Penix. Never do it. Even if he falls. He goes so late already. There's no reason not to take him. Even if I for some reason took a running back, a wide receiver here, it's not worth it. The difference between a wide receiver running back at pick 136 and 153 is essentially nothing. And if you lose Michael Penix, you're down bad. You take Drake London, you get Michael Penix. So this team's looking really strong. I thought I could stop at 2 QBs until I remembered that I wanted to go Michael Penix. I already had that set up. Let me review the squad for you guys and also catch up to what you're saying. But I think, yeah, the whole point about Andrews is pretty strong. We got to draft more Andrews. Henry was the man. Yeah, Kamara is always good. He's just good for total touches. Always catches a lot of receptions. Makes a lot of receptions. Catches a lot of passes. Nice. Yeah, I don't mind the Hawk herpes. Nice. He is super flexing. Nice. Okay, sweet. I'll definitely use those. It'd be great to get those in. Although I feel like watching a lot of the streams you've been doing, that Who Hames has been doing too, and some of the other guys have been doing Superflex content. I feel like I've got a general sense of what I like, what I think I'd want to do. I haven't done any Superflex contests myself yet. And then look at this. I start the QB run. Penix goes way ahead of ADP. Alert the media. Jordan Love was a faller, but he goes. Then Lawrence, who also is kind of falling. Geno gets snapped up. Cam Moore gets snapped up. JJ McCarthy goes. Quarterbacks aren't safe. Get your guy. Don't push him. This is the QB pocket. Take 2, take 3 in a row. Feel good. I haven't taken a receiver since round 7. Best possible feeling. The receivers that go in rounds 8 are good. 9 are speculative. 10, 11, 12, 13, terrible. Terrible picks for best ball. One of these guys might hit. Most likely none of them do. There's only been 7 wide receivers off the board in the last 45 picks. 45 picks. Make that 8. So you got to get your wide receivers early. Mix in a few running backs. Save the QBs and the tight ends for this middle range. I don't hate a lot of these running backs though. Some of these running backs in this range can be fine. It's a very flat part of the board though. Yeah, exactly. That's what I was thinking. Maybe just auto. Algier could be nice. There's not going to be any wide receivers here that I like. He's not going to catch passes, but I think he's just a decent pick at ADP and the team level correlation. He's not going to catch a lot of passes, though. Maybe Bijan misses a few weeks. Who knows? Comes in clutch when you need him. So I'm making a big bet on the Falcons. I'm probably done there with my Falcons. Tempted to go Eckler. Got a bunch of Eckler. I think he's a great pick, too. I kind of like Cedric Tillman. I definitely like Adam Thielen. It's hard for me to take Cedric Tillman ahead of Adam Thielen. I get the age concern and the injury concern, but Thielen just produces. Great at touchdowns, great weekly ceiling guy. Tillman, maybe you're hopeful for the breakout. You liked what you saw in the 2 weeks before Judy launched into orbit. And I think that was the right place to take another wide receiver. It'd been a while. Pick 160, get a guy like Thielen, lock it down, come back. Next couple picks is going to be tight ends, and then keep waiting on a running back until I find one that I really like. Could have taken Eckler, obviously, but didn't feel absolutely crucial to this build. And maybe waiting until round 15 for a wide receiver would have been a bit thinner than being able to get a guy like Thielen, who's probably just the second best receiving option on his entire offense. I mean, it's T-Mac and then Thielen, and then a big gap, and then question mark JT Sanders, Coker, Leggett. Yes, Chuba Hubbard was catching passes last year. He wasn't good with he caught 40 plus balls, didn't do a whole lot with them. Not very impressive in the passing game as an option. They bring in Dowdle. I think Dowdle's going to fill some of that role. Maybe a little bit better of a pass catcher than Chuba is. Maybe more efficient with the receptions, or maybe we see the rookie Trevor Etienne take some of that role. Who knows? Maybe JT Sanders takes a step forward as the true number 3 option in the passing game. That could be interesting. Jarquez going pick 172. Mad respect. I've got him ranked, I think, pick 169. I've got him ranked very aggressively. I'm totally in on Jarquez. I don't know. I wouldn't hate taking him on a team where I already have Kyron because he's not a Kyron backup. He's the 1-2 punch with Kyron. What it sounds like so far. And I need to go look through more of the coach speak. Speaking of coach speak, I need to go look through more of what McVay's been saying, but at least what I've heard so far on Twitter is the reason they went and got Jarquez Hunter, traded up for him, is because they wanted that kind of player, that kind of role for him to come in and do that for their offense to complement Kyron, not replace Kyron. I think Corum was more of a 1-for-1 replacement is how I'm reading it. So then Hunter Henry here just makes too much sense for me. Might as well do it. Love Alec Pierce. Could be a Mitchell team if I don't get Alec Pierce. Probably could go running back with my next picks. So far it's a 3, 4, 6, 2. I might just be done at tight end. It feels like I easily could be. And then it's like a 3, 6, 7, 2 or a 3, 5, 8, 2 could work. I don't have any conflicts with my running backs bye weeks. The receivers are also pretty decent. I've got 2 on week 8. That's going to hurt a little bit, but I'm still covered. And then the week 14, but that's totally fine. Yeah, I'm not surprised to see those guys go. I'm not very bullish on Demario Douglas. What do you guys think? Are you drafting him at all? I've got him buried in my ranks. I think Diggs being there is not good for Douglas, but maybe Douglas is a good pick for like early season upside, or maybe he's just still good enough and kind of taking steps forward as a player. It's got to be Dobbins. It's always Dobbins. And then I'll go with the late receiver. Give myself the option for my very last pick, whether it's a running back or another receiver. I don't think we missed any picks in the last couple rounds that I would have been interested in other than Jarquez. Light fall on Rico. I've been seeing Rico go pretty late. Maybe Keenan Allen's a good pick. Alec Pierce, I think, is a great pick here. Yeah, I don't know. Is he that dude? I don't know. And what up, Poohames? How you doing tonight? Was catching some of your stream earlier tonight. You're still rocking the Superflex stuff. Love to see it. Excited to be drafting some Superflex puppies with you tomorrow night. Looking forward to it, man. Yeah, I know that anyone who's drafting Hollywood is also probably drafting Kyle Williams. It's right in the same kind of range tier for wide receivers. I'm not as excited about those middle range wide receivers. Maybe I still like Jack Besh a little bit. But you could be right. Yeah. Yep, the playoff drop is fresh in people's minds. I do account for that. I do think that's overblown. I mentioned Mark Andrews recently at some point, and I forget who it was, but somebody in the chat mentioned the drop. I think it was last night. Nico at 46 in Superflex, that's crazy. Yeah. In the same breath, yeah, I think so. That's why I like Pat Bryant a lot later. And where did Pat Bryant go in this one? He keeps getting steamed up. 165. I've been in on Pat Bryant. I think that price is still fine. Tyler Lockett goes 164. You don't see that every day. And then a player that I've moved up a ton in my ranks that I'm going to consider drafting now, who I haven't been taking to this point, but Emmanuel Wilson I think is very draftable. I need to back off my Marshawn Lloyd bags just a little bit and bounce it out with an equal amount of Emmanuel Wilson, who goes completely undrafted, but I think he's a smash pick in the last round. So what I'm going to do here is look for AD Mitchell. If he's not there, he is there. I could do like a Wicks or a Brown or a Felton or an Austin or a Savion. What do I feel like taking? I've got enough Vikings. I don't need Felton. You think he's a good pick, though. Mitchell, Wicks. I'm just going to switch it up, get some Brown, just get some more equal exposure to wide receivers that go late like this. Not insanely crazy on Tesla. I think I've got plenty of them right now. I'm good with the Jared Goff to Amon-Ra stack and just bet on that being what I need. I don't feel like Tesla is going to help me out too much. Mixed in a Dimey Brown. Who knows? And then, like I said, I might do it. Tons of work. One of the best scoring offenses, one of the best teams running the ball. Ton of work rushing. I guess not a ton receiving, but 5 touchdowns. We're drafting guys like Trey Benson every single draft, but we're not taking guys like Emmanuel Wilson. So I'm going to put my money where my mouth is. I'm going to take Emmanuel Wilson on this one. As long as I feel good about my receivers, and I do, boom. Bet you guys haven't seen that before. Maybe you have. Are you drafting Emmanuel Wilson? I'm going to sprinkle him in. On this one, he makes sense. Just a nice little add-on piece. Can get some work. Contingent value. Josh Jacobs does this every year, up and down, up and down. Great years, not as great years, it seems like. So let me get a guy who's super underrated in a tournament where he probably doesn't even get drafted more than 10 times the entire tournament. Yo, what up, Dale? You got to a pug right before this one? Nice. Which pug is that for you? What number are you on? Tillman? Yeah, you would have liked Tillman. That's so funny. I gotta go. Who did I take? It was Tillman was in my queue, and I ended up taking Thielen, which was a great choice. And then Tillman goes like 15 picks later. Interesting stuff. But I'll get some more Tillman. Yeah, see, this is the pug. Last pug. Yep. Yo, what up, Chris B? CB Jets fan. How you doing tonight, brother? Hope you're having a great Saturday night. Good start to your weekend. Appreciate the kind words. Yes. Yeah, cheers. Oh, not a lot of big board luck. Yeah, I didn't have a ton of big board luck. But I went harder on the big board this year. The shade. The truth comes out. Douglas, nope. Okay, good. Douglas is hashtag not that approved. Good to know. Good to know. Whoops. I'll run down this team in a sec. I think it came out nicely. My last pug. Okay, I'm back. Yeah, I know. The one drop in the playoffs for Mark Andrews. But it's an overreaction type of game. Not drafted Wilson, but I have to start sadly. Maybe Lloyd is the best pick on the board. Maybe he just doesn't get it going. I got to start hedging against... I got to start playing in both universes where Lloyd never plays a snap. It's possible. Emmanuel Wilson is the de facto number 2. Maybe Lloyd does play snaps and he's not as good as Emmanuel Wilson. Okay. We're getting that ball rolling. We're going to get some momentum downhill. It's going to start snowballing. Emmanuel Wilson's going to be going in the 15th round. Oh, God. Emmanuel. Nice. 45 slow pups? That's slow pup hell. That's tough. Couldn't be me. The issue with Lloyd, I'd have to pull it up. I think it's... Let me know. I think Hartman was telling me about it. He's, I guess, just still working with the rehab group. I know, but I don't actually know. I could look something up. I could figure it out. But I'm excited to... I'll have to do a little bit of background research on what is going on with the Packers backfield. I just know that, and we'll do a little bit of quick, before I recap the team, we'll do a little bit of quick research on Emmanuel Wilson. I mean, he doesn't even pop up as like the first guy, unless I can't spell his name right, but that's probably what it is. Yeah, sorry, 1M. Not necessarily bad speed. He's very big, huge, 81st BMI, like strong guy, 26. There's not a lot of data in here about his college. He's undrafted. College dominator's off the charts. I don't honestly know where he went to college. I can't remember. Didn't do much as a rookie, but had an insanely good small sample size yards per carry, you would expect. And he played every game, but he had a nice yards per carry, touchdowns. Look at his game logs. I mean, very limited. His small sample size, but he's an average rusher. He's good in the receiving game. Had 14 explosive plays on, 114 touches. So about 1.5 explosive plays per 10 touches. Not a terrible rate. There were some metrics I was looking at. Team run plays per game. Obviously, the Packers stay running the ball, which is a good thing for upside for an RB2. Good juke rate. True yards per carry is super high. That's impressive. Very high in expected points added. Game script always amazing. Run blocking rating is very good. So there's just a few metrics, even on the small sample size, that is appealing. The game logs. If we remember, week 3, he played 41% of the snaps, had 12 carries, 1 in the red zone, ran 5 routes, not a lot of routes, put up 85 yards and a touchdown. So that's a spike week. That can help you. The rest of it, touchdown dependent. Here's a spike, not necessarily a spike week, but it's a scoring week. And it's PPR scoring, so maybe that's not hitting your lineup. Down the stretch, I'd call that a small spike. That's worthy. That's worthy of a hitting your flex type of week that he had on 34% of the snaps. So he's either not playing because Josh Jacobs is getting all the work, or he's coming in when they've got a good game script, they're winning, and they're running the ball, running the clock out kind of situation is what I think is going on here. Week 18 on limited snaps, he puts up some numbers, 71 yards, a touchdown. That could hit your flex. So this is a guy that can hit your flex with just how they've been using him historically. If his contingent value is probably very nice. So let me just put you on to a little Emmanuel Wilson. Obviously, there's the threat that Savion Williams comes in and starts taking some of those snaps. So that's kind of interesting too, a different angle about it. I don't. Anything more than 20 slows is too much for me. I think 20 is even too much. I would stop around 12 if I could help it. 12 is kind of my limit. And even then, 167 slows. I believe you, but it's hard to believe. But I do believe you, and that's incredible. The fumbleitis, yeah, I hate to see it. It goes around the locker room sometimes. Or 80-something. Yeah, even 80-something is too much for me. Oh, you're just guessing at Steve's? I was going to say, if that was your number, you're insane. Yeah, that's what it was, Hartman. Just working with the rehab group. You don't love that. That's right. I think I did like almost 50 puppies. I wasn't crazy about the puppy tournament. I was more excited about these other ones like the Schnauzer, the Pug, the Hound. So I knew they'd be coming. I didn't want to go all in on the puppy when I know I'm going to be doing BBM pretty hard. Oh my God. Dude, you can't go to like a 3-hour movie in like a theater. You'd be hitting on the clock. But I think the most I've ever had is like 25 or 30, and it's just too much for me. So that number is insane. Putin does have ball security issues. Okay. That's true too. There's a lot of rookies that I like, that we like for Dynasty, that we like in these Dynasty rookie drafts, that we're taking in best ball that we probably shouldn't. Maybe this guy's one of them. Maybe there's one right there. Is he better next year? Is he better in the future? Is he ever good? Amon-Ra's not going anywhere. Jameson Williams not going anywhere. Laporta's not going anywhere. Gibbs not going anywhere. The team is very young. Does he ever get a shot? Yeah, I haven't entered a super flex yet, so I get what you're saying because you're going hard on the original puppies. But I'm going to do a little bit of super flex tomorrow night with Huhames. Yeah. Nice. then you just cram in it. And by the time you finish those 41, you got another 40 that you're on the clock for. Madness. Yeah, I kind of do that too. That's I'm getting there. Not there yet, but sometimes that's the best thing is like, or like a Netflix series or like an HBO Max series or like a documentary series, you know. You put it on, you start a 45-minute episode or an hour-long episode, you get 15 minutes into it, you're out, you wake up the next day, you do it again, try to figure out where you left off. By the end of the series, you've watched 8 episodes, but have you really watched 8 episodes, or have you just kind of fallen asleep during them sequentially for about 2.5 weeks? That's kind of my play. Let's do a quick review, and then I want to look at some of my team combinations for BBM. Maybe, I guess I could look at the bestballoverlay.com. I guess we could check that out. Maybe that's what I should do to check my team combos. I saw BBG doing it. I think I can do it too. And then we'll jump into another draft. 3-6-7-2 build. Anytime you take a Monroe in the first round, you should be drafting Jared Goff. And if you miss out on him, it just kind of sucks. Got Drake May stacked with Hunter Henry and Diggs. So got the double stack for May. The single stack with the Monroe for Goff. Got the bring back in Hawkinson and Jordan Mason. Feels nice. Bring back for this game is Breece Hall. And then I've got Michael Penix stacked up with Drake London. Had the chance to get Mooney. Passed on him for Hawkinson. I think it was a good choice. I still have the connection to London. And then the bring back with Devontae Adams. Running back room. Ended up going with 6. I probably could have stopped at 5. I like this 6 though. Some contingent upside with Algier and Wilson. Also guys, like I said, that could just spike, get you a touchdown in a week, hit your flex. Where is Dobbins going to go? It's a question we've been asking for weeks. It's going to get solved at some point, and when it does, probably 9 out of 10 times. Maybe 20 out of 20. Let's just say, hey, how many teams could he go to? It's probably 10 teams. Probably 9 out of those are good landing spots. So his ADP should rise. He was good last year. He's still got some juice. Kamara and Hall holding it down. Mason, I think, could be a stud, could be a breakout player. Already broke out last season. People already forgot, though. He could break out again in 2025. The wide receivers are the stars of the show. Love building this way. Amon-Ra, Drake London, Devontae Adams, George Pickens, Steph Diggs, even Adam Thielen. I've got the number 1 or number 2 target on every single one of these offenses that I drafted, except then I got a little late Diami Brown throw in there for fun. Maybe he's a spike guy. I want to sprinkle my exposures around, and I didn't feel like going overboard and taking just like another Patriots pass catcher or like a late Lions pass catcher. Let me get a guy that could be the 3rd favorite option on the Jaguars, and maybe that's good for a few weeks. Hawkinson, Henry. I didn't even check to see what tight ends were there. The tight ends have been getting pretty bad after like round 17. Maybe some of these guys going around 18 that you still like Ferguson and Okonkwo. I've seen them get pulled up a little bit too. Conklin, I'm open to. He's just historically productive. Not very exciting player, but potentially he wins that role. I'm just worried that he's going to be splitting it with Disley, and neither one of them is a great pick. So I'll take Conklin sometimes, but not a whole lot. Nice. Okay, let me see something. I'm going to pull up the best ball overlay. And let me see if that page is working. I'm going to log in. Because I saw BBG doing it. No, I think he just had a... See, I wasn't sure if I could get into it yet. It says coming soon still. The draft analysis, dynamic filtering, comprehensive portfolio overview. So I saw BBG previewing it, and I think it's just a preview. It's not publicly available yet, is the key. So I'm excited to use that, though. I want to be able to review my teams in a nice, comprehensive way, my portfolio. I like this squad. This is one of my favorite pugs, probably my favorite pug, and generally how I'm drafting this year so far. A lot of 3s, 5 or 6. Love stopping at 7. Take a 2 or a 3 there. Comes from the running back. So 3, 5, 7, 3, 3, 6, 7, 2. Doesn't hurt to go, if you get a strong elite QB option, go with the 2. If I didn't have London, maybe if I started off with like Derrick Henry or something, maybe I just stop at the 2 QBs with Goff and May. I think that's viable, but this one seems much stronger with all of the team stacks, Week 17 bringbacks, and those Week 17 games I've built into. So I'm pretty stoked on this one. Let's see. I guess the best way to review it with the pugliest one. Yeah, cute little pug. I know, right? The rich get richer. Okay, so let me do this too. I'm gonna open a new poll. Let me open a new poll. I'm gonna close this one. Boom. Appreciate y'all hitting the like. Make sure you're liking if you haven't already. If you're still watching, you haven't liked it yet, hit the like. I'm gonna start a new poll. It's gonna be what we should do next. Which tourney? Do we want to do BBM or Elim / other chat? Chat it. Say it in the chat if it's something else. But I've already maxed the Hound, the Schnauz with the Pug. I don't think I want to do Superflex yet until I get those sweet Steve ranks. Plus, I still got to read the article, and I haven't done any yet. So I'm like, I think, let me get into it with Who Hames tomorrow and get really into it. I know, right? Tyler, that is degen behavior to the max. But I can't survive on that many slows. It's killer. But I've done a lot of slows at some points. Mostly last year, vacations, things like that, timing wise. Let's take a look at some of these. We don't have to go through all of them, but we can kind of preview some of them through here. So I'll keep a mental tally, and then once Best Ball Overlay tool is up and running, I think it's going to be in the next week, could be soon. We'll use that to keep like a real tally. I'm only 27 BBMs in, and so I don't have to start worrying about my exposures and my team combinations too much yet, but I'm getting to the point where I want to start considering it for tie breaks on picks, and also getting somewhat intentional with selecting guys in the first round, second round over each other if I need to do certain things. So this is a team Hartman and I built from a couple days ago. Mahomes, McCarthy, which means it has Justin Jefferson and Rashee Rice. Love the way that comes together. We did get Ty Felton too. I remember this team. It's a nice one. So that's one on the board for Mahomes, McCarthy. This is the ballsy one we did with BBG earlier for Monday. I like this one too. This is the Puka team with Stafford. And then we also have Jameson with Goff, Ridley to Cam. This one kind of came together nicely. Double stacked Laporta. I forgot Laporta was on this one too. I've been drafting more and more Laporta in the last week. I think I'm back in nice receivers. So put one on the board for their Goff team. I think I'd count this as a Goff team. Once you get past that range, it's like, yeah, I've got Stafford with Puka. I guess you could count that too. Calvin Ridley with Cam Ward. What else have we done recently? A lot of Jared Goff. I'm telling you, I can't stop drafting these Lions. I'm all in on the Lions. Yeah, I've moved on. I've transcended the slows. That's true. It's whatever works for you. It's whatever works to get him in. 100% agree. Oh, no way. See, I'm telepathically connected. I close out of Discord before I go live because it always pings because I have my volume turned on and I just haven't silenced all the things. So like the constant pinging from the Discord, I typically close out of Discord when I go live, which is funny because I feel like I could use the Discord's help pretty often in trying to fill some of these tournaments and things. I placed a poll in the chat. Go ahead and fill it out if you're interested. Should we do a best ball mania or an eliminator? Or if you vote eliminator and you don't want the elim, but you could chat and tell me what else you want to do. I've already maxed the hound, the pug, the schnauzer, and I don't know what else we'd want to do, like a sprint or a marathon, maybe, but I doubt we could get a lot of consensus around that. I'm open to it though. I think I like the sprint more than the marathon, probably. The marathon, it's like you're dead, and it just you're not too excited around week 16, 17 if your team's not doing good. But with the sprint, you just got to advance, and then you still have to do really well in week 15 and 16 to even feel good about week 17. But in the final, the only thing about the sprint I don't like is the final size is over 9,000 people. I wish it was like 1,000 people. 9,000 is a little bit off-putting. So yeah, that's exciting. Dropping tomorrow, perfect timing. Okay, good. That is true, Trioth. That's very true. I do forget about y'all. Thoughts and prayers out to y'all living in the anti-draft states. Shout out to Washington State. Who else? No longer New York. Who else has to do that? Washington State's the only one that comes to mind for me. Yeah. BBM 6, that's what I was thinking. I've got a fever, and the only prescription is more cowboy. Emo cowboy. I still think ROI is better in the sprint than they say at the BBM. Yeah. I think it would be. It's still a much smaller tournament. That 9,000 final size, though, just is kind of off-putting. I know. Washington State. A lot of great natural beauty. And then, for some reason, they're not cool with drafting. I don't get it. There's a few other states, though. None of them come to mind, but that's the most obvious one, Washington State. Which I go there often enough to remember to load some slows before I go. Okay, well, let's review like one or two more. I think we're going to end up doing a BBM 6, which sounds fun. Very soon. Let me just check one thing. Nice. Nice. Okay. And then, yeah, I don't know if you guys have heard yet. I don't know if you've seen on the YouTube channel. I've got it loaded. I've got a tomorrow night with Huhames on here, Superflex Drafts. Monday night, BALLSY on here, Bindles and I, with special guest Greg from the Coach Speak Index. I'm pretty pumped. I went ahead and subscribed to the Coach Speak Index Patreon. I've been reading up on a lot of Coach Speak in the last day. Loving it. I think it's a great value. I'm super in. I've been following him on Twitter since the beginning, but now I'm a Patreon member, so I'm pumped to talk with Greg on Monday night, get his thoughts on what's going on in the BBM landscape, and maybe we'll get an extra couple insider tidbits for y'all on what's going on. Make sure you come Monday. Bring your questions related to what's going on at these OTAs, the new coaching changes, all the things you want to know. We can get some time with Greg and get some questions answered. It'll be super fun. And so that's going to be Monday. We're going to put out a big announcement tomorrow morning, but I've already got the stream loaded so you can see it there on the YouTube page. It's going to be good stuff. Also, A shout out to my main man, Hartman. What is this? Oh, special shout out from Hartman. I just saw this on Twitter. I guess I could bring it up. No, I'm not going to bring it up, but somebody asked, who are your favorite best ball streamers? Let me know. And I get a special shout out from Hartman. Appreciate it. And I retweeted it. Very good stuff. Yeah. Super fun. Pretty much encapsulates the overall feelings in the best ball community right there in that post by Hartman. If you don't follow Hartman on Twitter, at FFStooge. Some kind words. We're all having fun here. It's good vibes, good community. Best ball is the best fantasy community. I say it every time. And we're growing. We're getting stronger. We're bringing more people aboard, teaching them our strategies, teaching them how to play best ball. We're all just here learning, getting better. No one really knows what we're doing. We've had 5 slates. We're in our 6th major slate on Underdog. Some guys have been around longer than that. Steve goes way back to some previous platforms and other best ball days. But we're in the current, I would say, like year 6. It's like year 6 BCE. And there's a long way to go before we solve this game. Although, if you ask some people, this game is beatable. So we'll figure it out together. This team is interesting. I did it on stream a week ago. And Daniels, Goff, May. The running backs look good enough. The wide receivers are stacked up nicely. I think it gets there. I don't love that it goes Besh, Knoll, Tesla. I wish I would have done something different with those back 3. The front 4 look pretty good. And then 3 tight ends. They're good. It's good. It's interesting. This is an interesting one. It's a big bet on the Commanders. And then obviously you got the Goff, Amon-Ra. Feels nice. AJ Brown's a nice piece. Connor and Harvey are good pieces in this. I'm hearing voices. Someone's playing some video in my house. And then Diggs May, which I keep doing. And then here's the team that Meg and I drafted on stream last Thursday, I think it was. Caleb Williams, Brock Purdy, Cam Ward. Okay, so I haven't done a ton of Caleb teams. I think she might have helped get me onto that. There's DJ Moore on this one. I don't have a ton of DJ Moore. Here's the one that Emo Cowboy and I did last Wednesday. Lamar Jackson, Trevor Lawrence team with a nice little group of running backs. We do happen to take Marshawn Lloyd, which is fine still. And then, I remember this one because we took Trevor Lawrence over CJ Stroud. We got the BTJ connection. Got some Bateman late. Doesn't hurt. The headless Evans and Godwin with a Mooney in there for all you Mooney lovers. Wicks, some more team correlation, bringbacks. Loveland, Strange, Higbee. It's a pretty good squad. And then here's the last one I'll look at. Billy Jones was on last Tuesday. We did a Jaden Daniels Stafford team, which means we have Puka and Terry McLaurin, Mooney for the bring back. I guess we didn't have any Dallas players. Ferguson in there, doesn't hurt. More Colston Loveland. The rare Keenan Allen for me. More Jack Besh. Another Alvin Kamara. So you guys kind of see my builds. I like to get my primary and secondary wide receivers stacked up as much as possible. I like to make big bets on the same offenses, same teams. Mix in some running backs and some receivers early, usually pushing tight ends to the mid to late. QBs getting 1 early and then stopping with 2 or going with like 3 in the middle. Except in this case, but just kind of feeling it out. Okay, that's good. I need to do a little quick refresh to see what I've been drafting the last 2 weeks before I get into another Best Ball Mania. Here's all my slows right now, Steve. I've got 10 or less, which is great. I accidentally entered a Best Ball Mania slow, and it snap filled. I think I was just trying to check to see something, and I didn't realize it would fill. So the rest of these are my last schnauzers that'll be like, I've already maxed it, but they're ending. They're all close to done. And then I entered an eliminator, I think today, just to get more eliminator volume going. So I don't mind doing an eliminator slow because that's going to help me get some volume in, and I can't always fill them like super fast. I'm the man with the worst branding in the game. Every platform has a different name. Oh. I'm similar, I guess. I'm similar to that. It's whatever. People will find you. Oh. Yes. I don't know. I might have to, in honor of Who Hams, I might have to get to a certain number of subs before I let out the lore. Let me get some more water. Be right back. And then I think, let me end the poll. I'll come back to this one. I think I'm going to end the poll here. In the poll, boom. 9 votes. We're probably do a Best Ball Mania. We could do an elim, maybe do an elim afterwards if we're still feeling it. But I think we'll get into a Best Ball Mania just to keep the volume up. I want to do like 3 or 4, maybe 5 Best Ball Manias before we get too much later along in the season. I mean, it doesn't really matter. I'm just trying to fit them in, but let's see what we can get into. I'm going to play. First, let me chill on the music. I'm going to hit the clip. We haven't seen it in a long time. But let me play the T-Mac clip, get some more water, be right back on that one. And then we're going to enter a Best Ball Mania. I think it's going to be 30 second because there's no rush. Well, let me know in the chat. Would you prefer 20 second? Or are you good with 30? I think I'm not really in a rush. I could easily do a 30 second and just make sure everything's very solid. But 20 could work too. We're definitely ready for it. I'm going to hit the clip. 20 second or 30 second, let me know. I'll be back in 5 seconds. All right, what's up? Let's see. 30 second, 30 second, 30 second. I'm good with 30 second. I'm going to go ahead and enter in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's enter this 30 second Best Ball Mania. Waiting on one. Get in, get in, get in if you want to. It's going to be a tough room. You got to beat me or I got to beat, you know what it is, 2 people advance. What up? We got Veet in here. We got Steve in here. This is going to be a sharp room. We got David in here. A self-proclaimed top dog. Let me know if someone else made it in. I'm familiar with those names. Boom. Okay. But yeah, if you didn't make it in, sorry. It was only 1 to fill. I tried to slow roll it. And then let me also hit my Best Ball overlay and filter to just Best Ball Mania. Pro tip. I'm in the 5 spot. One of my favorite spots to be in. Let's get it. And then Kriyath was saying, where does the Candyman username come from? Candyman is just the name that people give you when your last name is Candelarii. People call you Candyman your whole life. You just get it. Any sport, football, whatever, anything, you're going to be Candyman, Candy. basketball, all that kind of stuff. So that is naturally the nickname your friends will give you when you have my last name. That's how that goes. There's the lore. Didn't even have to hit a certain sub threshold. Shout out to Who Hames. I'm excited to do some Superflex with Who Hames tomorrow night. You guys got to be there for that. Help coach me through some Superflex drafts. We've got some Superflex fans, some Superflex. Oh, man, somehow I've got more CD than I do Gibbs. This isn't the time to start fixing my exposures, though. I'm not going to pass up on a chance to get Lamb. But man, Gibbs, my favorite player in Best Ball Mania. My favorite draft pick in fantasy football this year is probably Gibbs at cost. Hate to pass up on him, but I don't want to. It's not the time to start correcting exposures. I'm going to build out something around with CeeDee Lamb. It's going to be nice. I've been waiting to do some more CeeDee Lamb teams. It's been a little bit. There we go. And we're off. So we got some sharp drafters in this room. Steve, myself. We got Veet over here in the 9 spot. David in the 10 spot. Oh God. No, it's just like I said, that's naturally what your friends will call you if you have my last name. It happened to me, my brother, grandfather, dad, obviously all have the same last name. All different generations of friend groups and bowling league buddies, any teammates in any sport. That's the name they're going to gravitate towards. The 30. Yeah, what up, David? How you doing on this Saturday night? Hope you're having a good one, my man. I see you made it in. Got that Monra team going. Very nice. Good googly. What up, brother? How you doing? Let me know if you made it into this one. I don't necessarily know everyone's underdog usernames, but I'm getting better about it. And appreciate you coming by. Hope you're having a great week. Hope you're getting in some good drafts. Have you maxed your pugs or your hounds yet? I've maxed mine, so we're back to Best Ball Mania. Until, spoiler alert, Numi was on tonight on Pete's show, and he says they're going to be dropping new tournaments in the next week. I think one of them disbanded was reminding me is a Greyhound. It's like a 1 max inner $35 entry, which I think would be fun to do. I'll rip that as soon as it's open. But we're going to get some more smaller dollar tournaments coming out sooner or later too. Okay. And then what up, Kevin? How you doing? What are you up to this Saturday night? How's your weekend going? What kind of drafts are you ripping? Same questions. Have you maxed yet? Have you maxed the pug, the hound? I'll take Bucky. Yeah, I'll take Bucky. There's what else is there? JT or Bucky? Somehow I have Bucky ahead of JT, and I have more JT exposure. I don't know how that works. I like them both. I want both. I'm going to take Bucky on this one. Just a better offense. So then when I look at my CeeDee Lamb teams, only got 3 in Best Ball Mania. I don't see Bucky on any of them. So this is a new combo for me. It's going to feel good. And I think I do. No, I don't have a Josh Jacobs team. I have 2 of those. I don't have a Jonathan Taylor team either with CeeDee Lamb. So it could have gone either way. Obviously, Jonathan Taylor, fantasy staple. What's he doing going into the second round? Probably undervalued, but Bucky could just be on this big come up, just a rising star. I like the offense. So we got the Bucks and the Cowboys. Ooh, Barkley JT. Someone's been drafting Superflex, getting the high T start going, taking 2 running backs off the bat. Self-proclaimed top dog. Yeah, this top dog. You know him? You're just the Lumpsky. The Lumpsky. What up, Paul? The 9-hole. There we go. Yeah. Okay, no. Okay. Damn it. I thought. Okay, that's my bad. See, I told you I don't have the name straight yet. Paul is Legio 8, or I'll just call him Legion 8. That's Paul. I knew that because you've dropped with us before. You've been in here. Veet is Fantasy Football Wizard. He's not in here tonight, but he is sometimes. McLaurin went. That's who I would have liked. Steve gets McLaurin, very sharp. On top of it, gets his guy, his home team favorite. Got to get your Commanders when you can. I'm going Kyron there. Bet you thought I wouldn't have done it. I don't have any Kyron in Best Ball Mania yet. I want some Kyron. Sometimes he goes at the back of the third. Sometimes he makes it to the beginning of the fourth. He's not going to come back around to pick 44. I want him on this team. CeeDee Lamb anchoring down my wide receiver group, going to be strong. A Bucky and a Kyron start feels good to me. Yeah, somehow I only had one Bucky team and no Kyron teams. So let me get them both together on this one. There's the obvious answer. The obvious answer is you're not drafting players, and comparing them 1-to-1. It's not as if you're saying who's going to score more points, Kyron Williams or Garrett Wilson. You have to take into account structure, what you can't get later in the draft. Running backs are much more available later in the draft. Wide receivers dry up. The talented wide receivers account for something. It's like a value above replacement or a value above like what you can get. There's more starting wide receivers in the league, but there's less truly talented elite wide receivers. Comparatively, when a wide receiver gets injured, it's not like he's going to be replaced by another. Like if Garrett Wilson gets hurt, the Jets just don't have a good receiver option. It's not like someone can step up. If Kyron Williams goes down, Jarquez Hunter or Blake Corum could just be like guys you have to win because they go so late and they provide so much value. So all that to say, I still want to take Kyron Williams here. I still think he's a good pick for fantasy. And he's definitely going to score more points than Garrett Wilson. It just comes down to your team build and what you can get, because maybe we're comparing, like I'm comparing to the dropper next to me. He's got Gibbs, Achane, Wilson. Would you rather have that version or my version? Lamb, Bucky, Kyron. I think Lamb is so much better than Wilson. The running backs, Gibbs is so much better than Bucky, but Bucky is similar enough to Achane, and Kyron is similar enough in a weekly way to even Gibbs. I think CD is the one that separates here from Wilson, where the two running backs compared to his two, it's kind of a toss-up. So not sure, but I like his version too. I like it. I like those picks. I'm just thinking I'd rather stick with CD and get another running back, and then I'll scoop up some wide receiver values from here on out. I like the receivers I can get at 44 and 53, 100%. Kittle goes pretty early in this one. It's a 32nd Best Ball Mania, my 28th one. Technically 29th one because of that slow I have. Okay, do I take Jaden Daniels? I'm not going to take him this time. I have been taking him. I've got enough of him. I've taken him a few times with CeeDee Lamb based on what I was just looking at. And I've got him a bunch with McLaurin too. Pick 53. God, there's a receiver I really, really want to be there at 53. I'm going to go ahead and take Travis Hunter. I think the odds that one of these receivers I want falls to me is decent enough. So I don't feel like I'm missing out by going Hunter there. I like the upside with Hunter. I think he's just good. He's got some of the best hands that have coming into the league as a rookie. Some of the best hands since a guy that's probably, I don't know how far we can go back, but there's some good hands in last year's draft class too. But Travis Hunter just reminds me of Odell Beckham Jr. with like his spectacular catches, ability to go up and get the ball. Oh, is it? I'm not a deadhead. Like I'm not familiar with the Grateful Dead and like their discography. I have to check it out. I'm like aware of them, just not my vibe, not my generation, not my whole thing. More of a Stones, Doors, Beatles, uh, you name it, just all kinds of different classic rock, but a little bit less on like the damn. I wanted Pickens. I really wanted Pickens for the double stack. I thought he would be there. Didn't, Watson, Willie Wankers takes him. Should have known. Should have seen it coming. This is fine for Zay Flowers. I like Flowers just fine. Or Harvey. Let me go Flowers. I think it could be a guy poised for a breakout, year 3 breakout. Great offense. One of the best QBs. I was taking Zay Flowers at pick 44 as soon as a week or a week and a half ago. He's fallen a little bit. Not sure why. I'm still way in on Zay Flowers. In the 5th round, yeah. Yeah, actually, it's pretty bold. It's nice that Paul was able to get Puka at 9 because of it. Pretty sweet, actually. I don't hate it though. Just getting a little different, taking a stand on a player. You're going to take Henry with guys like Nico at 15 is even crazier though. David got Nico at 15 with the Monroe. I'm really jealous of that start. And he gets RJ Harvey at pick 58. Pretty nice. Just bird watching. Nice. Welcome in. Yeah, the Greyhound coming out soon. Yo, what up, Al Bug? How you doing tonight, brother? How's your Saturday going? What are you up to? Yeah, what up, Al? Can it be high T if your RBs are sub 200 pounds? Yes, most definitely. But I like where your head's at. That's a good question. Because like Achan is sub 200 pounds. He's like 185, 190 on a good day, soaking wet. And he's still a grown ass man. He'll still carry the load. He's pretty built, pretty jacked, fast, real fast. But even more than that, he's strong. He's hard to tackle. He can carry it between the tackles, carry the load. He did it at A&M for all those years. I remember games at A&M where Achan would get like 30, 35 touches a game. Maybe my memory is a little bit off, but I'm That's what I remember. I remember him touching the ball a lot. If you told me that Achane had a game with 40 touches in college, I would completely believe it. And some people just maybe they weren't familiar with him from A&M. They kind of just caught on to him in the NFL, and they just see his size and they think that he's not that guy. Wow. Okay. So yeah, Joe Burrow continues to fall. I think I like Addison here. Yes, he's going to fall with the suspension thing looming. The suspension looming. He's going to fall again. I think he's just still a good pick, and I like him. I'm going to take him. Good for fantasy. I need a wide receiver here, anyways. Good offense. All of the above, right? So it's like I don't have to take Henderson in that range. This is something we were talking about during Hartman's stream earlier today. Like the minute Jordan Addison gets suspended 2 games or 3 games or even 1 game, he's going to fall into round 7. And he's going to be going around pick 80 for a while. Some people might start taking the rookies over him for a minute, but he still pays off in round 6, I think. A lot of touchdown upside. Always been an explosive player. Can win you a week. Put up, a touchdown or 2 and a ton of yards. I think he'll continue to do that in the Kevin O'Connell offense. I don't hate Jacoby Myers either. Good spot for him. Golden goes to Steve. I could take one of Judkins, Caleb Johnson, Pollard. I could go Reed here pretty easily. I think I'll take Reed here. Keep building out the wide receiver room. Or do I go Mooney because I just love him so much? But it's a toss-up. I don't know. I got to do some research on that real quick. I haven't looked into Reed enough lately. How much do I actually like Reed? How much do y'all actually like Reed? I remember him coming out, Michigan State, big hit, big surprise. If you got him in Dynasty that year, paid off great for you. Did really well. Yeah, 13.6 full PPR. Kind of had a slightly more underwhelming year last year. Less total touchdowns. I think he had 2 rushing touchdowns his rookie year as well. So that bumps his numbers up a little bit. Receiving yards actually went up. Receptions went down. Targets went down. YPR is pretty good. Air yards could be better. But you love to see it. He's explosive. Tons of explosive plays. Pretty much all he does. I mean, it's obvious when 55 receptions, almost 900 yards. Get him more than 75 targets. I mean, get this man 100 targets and we're talking. So, okay, yeah, I'm still in. Definitely still in on Jaden Reed. I think it's fine to have him ahead of Mooney. But when we start to see how prolific of a passer Michael Penix Jr. is, we might be regretting waiting this long to take Mooney. Mooney, okay, what is the case in half point PPR for Khalil Shakir over Darnell Mooney? I do not think there's a single case to be made. And in my ranks, I mean, I had to move Shakir back a little bit higher because I had him outside the top 100. I moved him back to 91 because I don't want to be that egregious about it. But Mooney at 79, Shakir at 91, not even close in my book. I don't know what's going on with ADP, why people are so high on Shakir. Maybe he's somewhat tethered to Josh Allen. The fact that Michael Penix Jr. goes after Darnell Mooney means he can kind of fall a little bit. Wild to me. I just don't see how Khalil Shakir can get you there. Maybe he keeps taking a step forward, like in year 4. Maybe he continues to do more, but in full point PPR, I would probably consider him somewhat closer to Mooney, if not about the same. Probably not, though. I probably still want Mooney, honestly. And that's just me. In a good spot. Feels like an Aaron Jones team. Don't have much Aaron Jones. Got a lot of Mason. I'm still not out on Aaron Jones. I think he can be good. I think Mason's going to eat into his workload a little bit. Don't have to take him here though. It must have been, yeah. Baker goes early. Hawks there again. I don't know. I'm still just a little bit afraid that Aaron Jones' workload is going to get cut severely, and that's going to hurt him if he's not scoring as many touchdowns, if he's not getting as many touches and attempts, if he's more of a passing down back with limited red zone, limited goal line touches. It's going to hurt. I didn't need him on this team. He didn't fit perfectly with what I was building. I've already got Jordan Addison anyways. And then the Kyron and Bucky can hold it down. Getting a tight end there that I get some ADP value. We like Hawkinson. He pairs with Addison slightly better. Gives me one more out to go with McCarthy. Although, I mean, you could argue I could get McCarthy with Aaron Jones too. I could be taking Love later. Lawrence, obviously, going to be taking Dak at some point soon. ADP 116. My next picks are 101, 116. So where is the Pickens drafters on my left? I'm safe. I don't think I have to worry about Dak going. Pittman goes. I like Mason. I mean, it might be a Mason team where now I'm taking Mason the next pick after I miss out or I skip on Aaron Jones, even though I said I might take him. I could do Fields too. Kind of feels like a Fields team, and then to take like an unstacked Fields. Fields, Dak could be really nice. Bo Nix is still there. I don't have Sutton. If I got Sutton instead of Flowers or Hunter, I'd probably go Bo Nix right here. I don't need Najee. So Justin Fields, a good pick. Nice on this team. Which is what I was saying earlier. It's like, and I've got 22% Fields. I've got a lot of Fields. I kind of like taking Garrett Wilson because I can stack him with Fields later. I took Kyron instead. I don't regret it. But it would have made a lot of sense. Let's see my Justin Fields teams. I've got 6 Justin Fields teams in Best Ball Mania through 29 drafts. Almost always with Mason Taylor. Makes sense. A lot of Breece Hall. Don't hate it. And actually with Garrett Wilson, not enough. Or this could be really odd. Only once out of the 6 with Garrett Wilson. So I do need to get Justin Fields and Garrett Wilson a little bit more frequently. For sure. Watching Karate Kid. Are you calling me the Karate Kid? Or you're watching me on your phone while the Karate Kid's going on. Because Karate Kid is a classic. But I get it. What up, Master Y? No, this is not crazy. We've debated this a bunch. I can see both sides of it for sure. Bateman goes pretty cheap. Bateman broke out last year. It was a lot of touchdowns, right? The 9 touchdowns. Decent yardage, not the best, not the most targets. Bateman can get it done. I'm not out on Bateman either. I just like Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is extremely talented. He was pretty prolific in college, catching the touchdowns, and could get it done. So I'm not out on him. I think he can catch up in the touchdown department. Plays for the Ravens, great offense. But I get what you're saying about Bateman, though. What up, Pat? How you doing, brother? Yes, happy Saturday to all. Hope you guys are touching some grass. Hey, help your man out. Make sure you hit the sub. Make sure you hit the like. Appreciate it, Pat. Hope you're having a great Saturday, man. Yeah. And then Pat, super excited for the Best Ball Overlay website launch coming tomorrow, I think. I think you announced it in the Discord, is what Hartman was telling me. I had closed out of the Discord, but go Dak there. Easy click, right? And Najee was actually still there, so he's fallen just a little bit. But I get my Prescott stacked up with CD. Love to see it. I got to figure out something to do with this Commanders team for bring back. I'll figure it out. The rest of the team looks pretty solid. I don't know that I have a way to get to the Lions either. But this is where I start cooking up, correlating my week 17 matchups, building these out. I can do it with, I've got some options, but I need to start making some moves, kind of past the Falcons players. In the Commanders players, I've got some ideas later on. I've got the mini with Zay Flowers, Jaden Reed. Travis Hunter pairs up nicely with some other receivers that go late. Well, I almost took Pittman, but Pittman was selected like right before me, and then there goes Najee. So yeah, Pat, I'm stoked for the launch of the website so I can check out my Best Ball Mania combos using the comprehensive tool to look at all the different teams that I built out. Stoked to see that. Saw BBG previewing it a couple nights ago, so I'm excited to check that out soon. Probably due for a running back at this point. What do you guys think? Oh, Tootin would have been nice. Oh, God. What do you guys think? Do I do it? Ramondre also fits nicely with this team. God, this is a tough one. I hope I don't regret this. I'm going to take Ramondre here. Hope I don't regret that pick with blue. That one could burn me. Taking Ramondre, who's trending down, moving in the wrong direction, getting replaced, over a guy like Blue, who could just come into the league and be electric year one. We'll see how it plays out. Both of them would have fit this team nicely is the thing. Let me get some Ramondre, I guess. I don't know. Are you guys still drafting Ramondre? Or you feel like he has some early season value? Obviously, Trayvon's going to come in, and I think he could be really good really quickly. Take over the backfield. Or do you think it's like a more 1A, 1B situation? And the fear about the touchdowns, Steve's made some great points. I've heard, we've talked about it on multiple streams. Yes, the Ravens look to Mark Andrews and other options in the red zone, not typically targeting Zay Flowers in the red zone. Things can change. I mean, he had a lot of touchdowns in college. I think he still has a chance to Get it done, like a true year 3 breakout. Get Zay to like 100 and we need to get Jaden Reed to 100 targets, 100 plus targets, maybe 110. We need to get Zay to 130 targets, and he's going to break out in a big way. Plus, you'd love to see it. Boom. Very nice explosive profile. Come on. Just what I like to see. Perfect question for Monday night when we have Greg from Coach Beak Index on. We can ask him about LaFleur, how this... I need to write this one down. I'll make a note. I'll make a mental note. I have a notepad right here. Ask CSI about LaFleur in the Packers wide receiver room. Got it. All right. That's one on the board. Let's get some more questions we can cook up around coaches' decisions, roster decisions, the sits, the starts, the, snaps, all that kind of stuff. I think we can get some good intel. You heard it here first. I mean, enough said. Although I like Reed, though. Come on, we just made the case for Reed. We got to get Reed more snaps. Not more snaps, more targets. I'm a madman. I'll do it. I will snap, click, Trevor Lawrence. Did McCarthy go? No. Yes. Yeah, duh. I'll do it. He's going to hit him. Oh, because he times out on Njoku based on ADP. Snap. Snap him up. Snap. Easy click. The QB room couldn't be stronger. 2 pocket passers, poised for great seasons. Just reloaded with a bunch of weapons. Brian Thomas, obviously not on this team, but he's got him. And then I've got him stacked up here with Hunter, the CeeDee Lamb, and Dak. Also, I didn't land Pickens in this one. I tried to line it up. Didn't work, but a great option for him. So anytime I can get, like I said earlier, my top 2 pass catcher, my top 2 wide receivers stacked up with the QBs, I almost can't help but do it. Great situation. But back to Thad, yeah, I agree with your Khalil Shakir take. It's just Jaden Reed, I'm still in on. I think he's still good. Scores a lot of touchdowns. He's kind of like Deebo Samuel Light for a while there. In the good kind, not the bad kind. His rookie season with the rushing touchdowns, 10 total touchdowns, all that goodness. I think he's still a good enough offense. So, still interested. Ooh, Goddard goes. I would have liked Goddard. I wouldn't have minded Ferguson, but I'm not crazy about Ferguson. Like, I don't really care about Ferguson that much. But I would have liked Goddard. Any wide receivers I need here? I don't think so. The answer is no. And then Eckler's the running back for sure. I'm not crazy about Strange either. I'll push Strange. Just I don't even need him. No, I could be wrong. No one's going to win Best Ball Mania because they drafted Brenton Strange stacked with Trevor Lawrence. It's going to be Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter, or Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. If that's the QB you need, it's going to be one of those 2 receiver options. So just got to think about that. Like, what is it going to take to win? What does the winning team look like? Draft like we're correct. I made the bet on Trevor Lawrence and Travis Hunter. I don't need the Brenton Strange. I think we've already priced Brenton Strange to the top of his outcomes. and just hadn't shown enough production yet to warrant kind of where he goes. When he was a free pick in the big board around pick 220 or like not even getting drafted, yeah, but he's just gotten steamed up so high. It's kind of incredible. Yeah, I'm excited for the release of the website. Definitely going to be showing that a lot on stream. Looking at all my teams, I'm almost 30 Best Ball Manias in, so I'm getting to the point where I got to start taking into consideration the builds, the constructions, the exposures, the overlaps, the combos. I found out I didn't have any Kyron teams. I had to get Kyron this draft. Found out I didn't have any CeeDee Lamb Bucky teams or CeeDee Lamb Jonathan Taylor teams in Best Ball Mania so far. Two combinations I think are common enough, and you almost certainly want to have in a max 150 portfolio in any kind of tournament, puppy, Best Ball Mania, whatever. Seems logical to get CeeDee Lamb with as many second rounders combinations as you can. Paulino 89, what up? What up, man? How you doing? That was funny. You said you commented earlier that you made it into that eliminator last night with Nick Bach and I. I looked back through. I was trying to figure out what's your underdog username. I think I noticed which one it was, but I wasn't sure. But let me know in the chat. And then Mondre, I like Mondre. I think Josh McDaniel can make Mondre and Henderson work. That's another question I can ask Greg on Monday night's show. We can get into that for sure. How does it break down between Ramondre and Travion Henderson? What's currently going on with how they're going to utilize Henderson? Oh, are you serious? What are the odds he would take Alec Pierce there? That's all right. I'm going to go ahead and take Zach Ertz. Makes a ton of sense. More bringbacks for that Week 17 game against Dallas. I'm also in on Ertz. Drafting him all the time. I mean, how could you take Britton Strange ahead of Zach Ertz? Doesn't make any sense to me. But probably want to go back to wide receiver pretty soon. I've got 5 that I like. It's about time to get back. I would have taken Pierce there and then tried to push Ertz. But Steve already has two tight ends. So luckily, he probably wouldn't have taken Ertz. A bunch of these other drafters already had 2 tight ends. So I could have pushed Ertz. But let me just take him there, make sure I get him. And then let me consider. I'll push Hunter in this one. I'm not going to take Hunter super early. But like I said in the last draft, I'll take Hunter with Kyron. I think it's a perfectly good combo. I do need to get a receiver. Could be good with 2 tight ends. Already got the 3 QBs. Looking like it's time to get another 2 receivers as soon as possible. Pick 173 coming up. Fryman's still there. Good value. Some people are afraid of the trade rumors. I'm not really afraid, not really worried. I'll definitely grab a Pat Bryant there. I'm not really afraid of the trade rumors. I think Frymuth is talented enough to hold down a role. We've seen him be productive when healthy, even with guys like Darnell Washington there, who also might be kind of coming into a role himself. So even without like a trade, like a Jonnu going there or Kyle Pitts going there, he's already holding off Washington for kind of the main tight end role and then one of the main targets. So I guess worst case scenario, yeah, like a Johnny goes there and it turns into a situation kind of like Conklin and Disley right now, where neither one of them is really worth having. I don't know though. I'm kind of surprised to see them even entertaining the thought of going out and getting another tight end when they've got Freiermuth in Washington. They've got Washington, who's essentially another lineman, one of the best blocking tight ends, and he's like 6'7", can catch a ball in the red zone for sure. And then Freiermuth is like no slouch either. He's just, I guess he's had an injury history, but pretty much every tight end has an injury history. So Hunter Henry's a pretty good pick in this range too. I've got a lot of him. He could have worked on this team if I didn't get Ertz for some reason. I could have taken Freiermuth just because he's a good pick, or Hunter Henry there for the correlation. But yeah, Paul, that's a good question. Let me know your underdog username. I'm going to write that one down too. The New England RBs, Mondre versus Hendo usage, question mark. Okay. That's some good intel. I mean, I drafted a ton of, like an embarrassing amount of Antonio Gibson in round 18, 19, 20 of the big board because, you know, we used to draft Antonio Gibson in the 4th round. People forget. But obviously, not an incredible pick. Oh, come on, cool people. Take Dobbins right out of my queue. That's all right. Let's think about the receivers first. Mason Taylor makes sense. Okay, that's very egregious. Dobbins out of my queue, then Mason Taylor right as I was starting to make a case for him. Gonna make a case for him at the same time. I was gonna say how I didn't really need him right now. I need a wide receiver and a little bit of a reach on Mitchell, but it's really not. And it's, you know, if I'm gonna get 7, it's a good spot to do it. I've got him ranked there. I could take Michael Wilson, but why? Yeah, the Dimey Brown is a better way to get a double stack with Trevor Lawrence than the Brenton Strange, in my opinion. So this is gonna be like a 3, 5, 8, 2. I could stop at those 7 though. Easily could stop at this 7. I don't really need the 3rd tight end though. And to me, the running backs feel fine right now with the 4. Like this could be a hyper fragile build, straight up. Could stop with those 4. Wouldn't bat an eye. But, you know, it doesn't make sense to get one more running back. I just don't know that I need 2 more wide receivers. And I don't know that I need another tight end. So 1 more wide receiver, and then I just might as well grab the running back. I think that's the way to do it. So I'm going to grab Dammy Brown here. Hope that what we saw in the playoffs with him, you know, wasn't a fluke, although kind of a interesting player. Never a lot of production, never a lot of anything. Just a few really good games in the playoffs with the Commanders. He's on a different team now. It's a round 17 pick. Could be worse. Maybe he's a spike week guy. It could always be worse. But I feel like, I mean, how many Brown teams do I have? It's my first one, so one is enough. Like one out of every 30 teams is probably too much, but it's fine. Maybe draft him 3 or 4 times in Best Ball Mania. It's plenty on the right team. That is one way to play it. I love it. You got to draft like you're right. You got to see the future. You got to make it happen. Yeah, Mooney has a clear path to the targets. That's for sure. I mean, how many targets did Mooney have last season? It was definitely more than 80, wasn't it? A healthy Mooney with a Kirk Cousins season. They're not the best targets, but he had 107 targets. But I know what you're saying. Like he could easily repeat that or do better. So is the Packers wide receiver room too crowded? I don't like that like excuse in general. I think talent wins out. But did the Packers just run the ball first? Yes, they're a run first team with a pure pocket passing quarterback. This team would look so disgusting with Miles Sanders on it. I don't know if I can do it. Tough to fall off. I don't think I can do it, but I will take Emmanuel Wilson. You already know. Just makes too much sense. Too easy to click. He's got the production. He's got the pathway to more. Hey, Aaron Wilson. That's my guy. KPRC2 Houston. That's my reporter right there. It's my Texans guy. He's one of our insiders. Yeah. Easy click. Boom. Emmanuel Wilson. First Emmanuel Wilson in Best Ball Mania. Feels incredible. Round 18. You might be taking Trey Benson at pick 140, who's never done anything, was never good, never caught passes. Maybe his yards per carry is good, but it's not as good as Emmanuel Wilson's. The Packers are a better running team than the Cardinals, more productive, more touchdowns, more touches, more of everything. I'm making the case to you live for Emmanuel Wilson in the 18th round. I think it's one of the sneakier, better clicks right now. And until the news breaks that Marshawn Lloyd is just the running back 3, people are going to keep taking Lloyd as running back 2. I've got a bunch of Lloyd, but I'm starting to see. I have 11% Lloyd. That's too much. That's 3 Best Ball Mania entries. Let me start to even that out with some Emmanuel Wilson takes, I think it'll be nice. Just you don't know who's going to hit. You don't want to be too far into one bucket, too far exposed to a guy, especially when Lloyd's never done anything. I feel the same way about Devin Neal. I don't want to be too far exposed to Devin Neal and completely out on. I have 3 Devin Neal teams. That's too much. I don't want to be completely out on Kendre Miller, who I haven't taken yet. I don't even have Kendre Miller ranked. I need you guys to resell me on Kendre Miller. They also have Clyde Edwards-Helaire, which is like interesting, but Jordan Mims. Gosh, it's a mess. The Saints backfield behind Kamara is a mess. It almost is untouchable. unless you guys sell me on if you can sell me on Kendre Miller, who I used to love, but hard times. Oh, are you in this one too? Oh no. Yeah, the last. Okay, yeah. No, I knew you were a heavy hitter. That was the name that I recognized because you've got the baseball avatar, and so I knew for a fact you're going to be heavy hitter. But yeah, you took Bijan at 2, which look in this room, Bijan goes 4, so I get gifted CeeDee Lamb at 5. It's not crazy though. The last room, the last pug, Bijan went at 101. But yeah, last night in the eliminator, you took Bijan at 2, and we got Saquon at 4, which was nice. Troomers. Yeah. No worries. Hashtag QBs matter. People forget Gibson won 2 turn year. I know, right? Gerardo. It's like I don't forget, but I regret. He never really paid off in fantasy. Or did he? Did he have like 1 year where he paid off? Never really paid off. Yeah, it has to be Mooney over Shakir. But the ADP would tell you completely otherwise. Like it's bonkers to me. I'm not going to be drafting any Shakir, I guess. People just really want players on the Bills is why that happens. True, that's the connection. Yeah, that's part of it. Kriop, I think you're onto something here. Although I need you guys to sell me on Kendre Miller and why he should be getting drafted over Devin Neal. Or is the Saints RB2 just an avoid situation? It's Kamara or nothing. Is kind of what I'm leaning. So let's look at this one. 3, 5, 8, 2. My number 29 best ball mania. Justin Fields, Dak Prescott, Trevor Lawrence. A tiny value on Lawrence, nothing crazy. All of these guys, though, it feels strong having 2 of next year's, highest anticipated return to for Dak, return to kind of being one of the better pocket passing QBs. For Trevor Lawrence, everyone's waiting on him to finally put it together and do it. They got him, Travis Hunter, with the 2nd overall pick in the 2025 NFL draft. So he's Brian Thomas Jr. last year. Now it's Hunter. Can Trevor Lawrence finally cook? Fields, incredible rusher. Good for fantasy, trying to revive his career. Almost certainly no bench risk too, so I feel confident taking Fields in like the top 90 picks. Get him at 101. Did kind of a double RB anchor, I guess you could call it, which is something I like to do. But really just start with 2 good RBs in the first couple of rounds, first 4 or 5 rounds if you can do it. And then wait a while, get Ramondre, Eckler, and Emmanuel Wilson. Try to get Bucky and Kyron to fill my running back starter spots every single week. Ramondre comes in every once in a while with a touchdown. Eckler comes in every once in a while with the reception touchdown. Emmanuel Wilson, contingent upside, and maybe some spike weeks and a really good rushing offense. CeeDee Lamb stacked up. Travis Hunter, when you can stack up your first 2 wide receiver picks, you got to do it. I got the bring back for Hunter in Adonai Mitchell. It's kind of weak bring back. Maybe it'd be better on this team to have like a Tyler Warren, or I would have liked Alec Pierce, but he went 1 pick before me, and I ended up taking Ertz, and then I got Pat Bryant, who I do like, and he plays Jacksonville in week 16, so that's kind of cool. Upside pick on the rookie. Zay Flowers, Jordan Addison. I also have Hawkinson, so I've got 2 of those Vikings players. The Jaden Reed, can have some spike weeks. Hopefully it gets more targets. Pat Bryant for the upside. So I also kind of started off with those 5 wide receivers early and then took a break, hit the QBs hard, and got myself a nice tight end too as well. Got a tight end also. And then came back to wide receiver later on, got Pat Bryant. Mitchell maybe has a year 2 breakout. Maybe he finally puts it together. He was one of the younger wide receivers in the NFL last year. So maybe he's still developing, putting it together, getting his head right. He's a supremely talented guy, super fast, good size, good speed, good vertical, catches those jump balls, good hands. Notoriously caught a touchdown in every single college football playoff game he ever played for Georgia and for Texas. Dyami Brown, probably my worst pick, but the very least, the connection to Trevor Lawrence. I kind of regret the Dyami Brown pick. Probably Wicks is a better pick. That's about it, though. I mean, I wouldn't go too far. It's not that bad of a pick. I wouldn't take Yoshivas. I wouldn't take maybe Calvin Austin, but I have plenty. I've got plenty of Wicks. So the whole point was I needed to diversify my last receiver pick. I hadn't taken any Dyami Brown yet, or had I? I don't think so, right? Yeah, I hadn't taken any. So it's worth taking a few times. Overall, I think it's a really solid team. Feels good. That's how I like to build them. That's what I've been doing for Best Ball Mania. More 3 QB builds, more 4 and 5 running back builds. 8 receivers is plenty. Could have stopped at 7 even. And then the 2 tight ends. Felt good. Didn't force the 3rd tight end. Honestly, Okonkwo or Sanders, potentially better picks than Dyami Brown. Give me some resiliency. Give me a higher floor at scoring for tight end. 1 more out in the playoff weeks. But overall, I think it's a good squad. Yeah, I mean, let me hit up David's team. Good old Lemsky. Yeah, plush coach speak. We'll have to see. I'll do some research. I'll go through. I'll put that one down too. Okay, the Saints backfield. I guess we're interested. The Saints RB2 situation, question mark. So the questions we're going to ask, we've got lined up for Greg on Monday. LaFleur and the Packers wide receiver room. What's up with that? New England running backs. Mondre versus Hendo usage. What do we feel there? And then the New Orleans Saints RB2 situation. So we're starting to put together some good questions. I like this. Let's check out David's team. Boom. 2-6-7-3. Jared Goff with Amon-Ra and CJ Stroud with Nico Collins. Very jealous of this team. I like that a lot. You also got the double stacks with the JMO, the Jaden Higgins. Throw a Null on there for good measure. Don't know that you need them, but why not? Tight end room looks very strong. Andrews, Warren, Muth. Got some value on him. People seem to hate Quentin Johnston. I think it's fine. I think it's decent. You got to bring back, so it works here. But people on Twitter will hate that. Devontae Adams, great pick. Really solid, highly correlated receiver room. Your buys are a little bit scary. You've got 1, 2, 3, It's not. It could be worse. I guess it's 3 out of 8. No, 3 out of 7. It could be worse. It could be worse. You could have worse bye overlap. We have 3 out in week 6 and then 3 out in week 8. So you're gonna have pretty low floor, potentially lower floor scoring in your wide receiver groups in those weeks. But at the end of the day, I think your first 4 wide receivers are really strong, and then I don't mind Jaden Higgins either. So decent there. Tight ends look very strong. The running backs, I think that's enough to get it done. I haven't seen teams with Hunter and Corum on them both together yet. I don't mind it though. Like I said, I think Corum's a contingent upside for Kyron, and then Hunter could just have a good role all season long. So you're locking down parts of a good Rams backfield. You're kind of betting against Kyron, which hurts me. But if Kyron goes down or something happens where he just gets beat out by Hunter, which I don't know if that could really happen, but this would be a good situation for you. I think Pollard, Connor, and Harvey, though, is a nice base 3 running backs to start with. And then I do agree, generally, I would go with 6, starting with those 3 as my foundation and then tacking on some upside guys. So I like the way you built it out. I don't know that when I take, I mean, you can do it. This is like a Texans onslaught. You can definitely do it. But you've got Stroud, Marks, Collins, Higgins, and Knoll. At least you don't have Schultz. That would be like way overkill. Probably on this one, you could do without one of Higgins or Knoll or Marks. Just have one less Texan and then put that somewhere else for a different game stack, whether it's getting another Charger or, I mean, you could get another Charger too, or you could put it into a different game stack. Maybe get a Vikings player. I don't know. It's hard to say because like the ranges those players go. Or you could have done something around the Rams and the Falcons a little bit. But that's just like big braining and like trying to find something that I could suggest that you could improve from like a hindsight perspective, which is like, of course, very easy to do in hindsight. But during the draft, you just kind of go with the flow and take what you think is right. So this is a Texans onslaught with a double stacked Lions Goff build and some Rams, Hunter, Corum, and Devontae Adams. I like this. This is this kind of team I would build. I think it's good. Tight end's pretty strong. Nice. Exactly. See, you knew it was coming from Dad. You already knew it was coming. What up, Crossface? How you doing, brother? A microcosm of best ball Twitter right here in the chat. Yeah, see, it can definitely work. It can definitely work. And they're cheap too. It's not like you spent too much. It's not like you spent too much on Knoll or even Higgins. And then Woody Marks is practically free. What the part that sucked was like if you did an onslaught of the Texans last year and then Diggs gets injured, Tank Dell gets injured. Tank Dell was overpriced the entire time. Diggs was actually fine for a while. What year was that though? It was just a slate. It was a slate last year. Yeah, Utica. I'm familiar with his game. Nice. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I would build a team just like this. I like this 2-6-7-3. I think it's fun. Maybe, and I'm just saying maybe you could have replaced one of these picks with Stafford. Wouldn't have been a bad choice with Devontae Adams. Just one more connection, one more out, one more way to win. But you can still get there with Adams, or with Adams and without Stafford. Yeah. No, I don't hate it either, but I'm telling you, everyone else will. I mean, what the hate has gone too far. He was underwhelming as a rookie, right? He was bad his rookie year. He's actually pretty decent last year. You just think he gets replaced by Trey Harris? He's actually pretty decent. It's the drops. It's the true catch rate that everyone hates. So maybe he just gets replaced by Trey Harris. I guess not necessarily the drops, more of like not being able to catch the ball. So just not being in position to catch them, which like there's a difference between dropping it and then not being in the right spot to be able to catch it and not even having the chance to drop it, I guess. His win rate versus man is pretty bad, which is a bad indication for receivers. Could be worse though. I mean, he goes late enough in the draft. Yeah, that's what I was saying though. That's what I was saying. Stafford, I'm not surprised. Yeah, some people are saying Trey Harris helps him. I'm not sure. I haven't figured out how that backfield comes together, so I'm not sure yet. Okay, it makes sense to me. Okay. Whoa. Okay, that's enough, QJ. But I get what you're saying. Like I said, I won't overtly hate on the QJ pick, but everyone else will, which means you could be right. If everyone else is out on him, you're even out on him yourself. But it worked for this one. Yeah, people are just out. Just visually, people don't like Quentin Johnston. Oof, that's pretty damning coming from Steve. So, yeah. No, I think so too. Best ball is not about taking the sexiest pick, taking the best pick for redraft, taking the best pick for dynasty. It's about getting a guy that you need. That could be the guy you need week 17. No doubt about it. Can Quentin Johnston hit your lineup in week 17? 100% he can. Yeah. I'm not going after you. You asked for the sauce. I'm just letting you know. Everyone else is going to hate Quentin Johnston until the cows come home. I think it's fine. It works for that team. Yes, that's true. Facts. Hartman knows. Hartman's the same way. Hartman's like the nicest guy on stream, but in the chats, he'll get you. He'll turn it on. He's a keyboard warrior. Yeah, tell him, David. Don't let the chat get you down. Fight back. Show him some data. Show him some statistics. Give him the proof. Make a stand. Take Emmanuel Wilson in round 18. Convert everyone to Emmanuel Wilson. Fade Marshawn Lloyd. At least sprinkle him in. At least be equally exposed is all I'm asking. I'm trying to get there. That's what I'm trying to do. Nice. Okay. So, to recap, tomorrow night. Love it. Definitely. I would too. Yeah. Yeah. But also, McConkey went off in that game. If y'all haven't, okay, I'll do one last little thought experiment. McConkey. The case for McConkey. He only played 16 games last year. This is PPR, but he averaged 15.1 points in PPR. Number 16 overall as a wide receiver, but he missed a game. Okay. Obviously, I love the explosiveness. Don't have to go there. The game that he missed, and sorry for the bright mode, the brightness. Let me pull open my calculator. We said 15.1 points per game times 16. If we added back this game in week 19, where he's playing the Texans, one of the best defenses in the league, one of the best defenses against the pass in the league, he goes off. McConkey puts up 34.7 points. So 15.1 times 16 plus this 34.7 divided by 17. 16.3. So an entire extra point per game, which is hard to do over the course of a season, average. So 16.3 per game, which is in line with nearly in line with Devontae Adams. It's still a little bit below that and definitely below prime Devontae, but who isn't? I will say though, it's right in line with Drake London, which is where he's getting drafted, where he goes. The difference is Drake London had a 40-point game in week 18 against Carolina, one of the worst secondaries, worst defenses, against a bunch of backups. So is at least what I've been told. Maybe it was this. I don't know. Whole point of that is that 40-point game is not as impressive to me as the 35-point game Ladd McConkey had against the Texans in a playoff game. So maybe you discount London's 16.5 a little bit, and maybe you put an extra emphasis on McConkey's 16.5. The last point is if we look at Jamar Chase, what range was Jamar Chase in just before he broke out last year? 16.4. Now, is Ladd McConkey the next Jamar Chase? You tell me. Could easily be. The touchdown's got to be there. The target's got to be there. So we need a lot more. 175. I mean, maybe Ladd can get it done with 150. 17 touchdowns would be hard to repeat. The air yards, 1,500. But he's not that far off. If we added those targets from that week, that playoff game week, let me go ahead and grab those. 14, 9, and 200. So now he's almost at 130. He's almost at 100 receptions. He's almost at 1,400 yards almost. He's at 9 touchdowns. But, I mean, the Chargers aren't going to throw the ball as much as the Bengals. They're going to run it a good amount. So I don't think Ladd McConkey gets there, but I think he could be a first-round pick next year in fantasy easily. I think he's got the talent to do it. Is that what QJ did week 18? Yeah, that kind of inflates his numbers a little bit, doesn't it? I know. Sometimes in week 18, you're playing the backups, though. That's a good point. Herbert was dealing with something earlier in the season. I think it wasn't. So with McConkey, right? I'm going to zoom down to the bottom where the injury stuff is. It was the toe late, which he played through, but early it was a lot of stuff. Hip, a shoulder midway through, a knee, shoulder, a little bit after that. So he was kind of playing through it all. He could have even had a better season if he wasn't so banged up. And then Herbert was definitely banged up. I forget what was it, his ankle was like a high ankle sprain coming into the season. Yeah, there it is. 9 injury reports. Didn't miss any games, but he's playing through a high ankle sprain the whole entire season. Still puts up 504 pass attempts. Decent numbers. Decent. 504. How does that compare to Burrow? I don't think it's touching Burrow, but it might be, 650, right? So it's not even the same universe, not even the same, not even the same quartile. This would be the most, and then probably Herbert somewhere around the median. It's a good look. The glasses, good look. I think we figured it out, though. I think Steve and I had talked about this before. I think I asked Steve, why can't McConkey be the next Jamar Chase, and it was essentially came down to because he doesn't play with Burrow. If he played with Burrow, he probably would put up Jamar Chase numbers. I mean, he does have a good look. No, but do you know who is the next Lad McConkey? It's not Roman Wilson. Lumsky. Wait and see. Lumsky, are you one of the Michigan guys? Are you like CBK? Are you one of these Michigan super fans? Yeah, McConkey can be a Monraw. Yes. What up, Ben? How we doing? How's your Saturday night going? What are you drafting? You've been doing some super flexes? You've been doing some. Okay. So the question was, can Lad McConkey be Jamar Chase? Probably not, but can he be a Monraw, and can he be Lad McConkey? Yes. So good enough. Yeah. But who? So if Lad McConkey comps to Monraw, we've seen that he could be like the next breakout guy, even though he already kind of broke out as a rookie. He could break out even further. Who comps to Lad McConkey? Well, okay, what is Lad McConkey? He's 6 foot tall, 186, decent size, went to a SEC college, picked 202, 439, decent speed, terrible college dominator, terrible college target share. Okay. And what did he do in college? Well, his very best season was his second year at Georgia. Only 76 targets, only 762 yards, 7 touchdowns, some special teams. Year age 20, Georgia. Not the most impressive, but it's good enough, right? Okay. So who does that remind you of? It's a poor man's version of Matthew Golden. Matthew Golden, similar size, even faster, even younger, even better school, Hogan, baby. But an SEC college, drafted even higher, better college dominator, better college target share, better breakout age, production wise, even better total best year, stats, almost 1,000 yards, 9 touchdowns, more special teams yards, 21, 20. What's the difference? So Dwayne McFarland's supermodel comps Matthew Golden to Lad McConkey. Get the future Lad McConkey at a discount today. Matthew Golden, currently going pick. I mean, Steve took him at a nice spot. 74, I have him ranked in the mid 60s, right around 66, I think, or 68. I might have slightly moved him around, moved Laporta up, but I take him ahead of a bunch of these other receivers. It's Matthew Golden. That's the answer. The next Lad McConkey, it is Matthew Golden, and it will happen most of the time. 50% of the time, it's going to happen 100% of the time. I'll tell you that much. And if you're out on Golden, I can't help you. You got to see it. You got to know he's going to be the top target on the Packers. How much different is the Packers offense than the Chargers offense? They're both run first. Good enough QB. I mean, Herbert and Love went in the same draft class, and a lot of scouts said that Love had the better arm. So all of that. Less competition in defenses he played, or less competition on the team? Because I think I'd have a I don't know. I don't think so. High on Golden though, yeah. Yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. McConkey's already proven it in the NFL. Golden's got a long way to go, but he's a good route runner. They'll figure out how to use him. LaFleur will figure out how to use him, right? Yeah, it was Gunnar Helm. Yeah, and I didn't actually see your comment, but I knew the answer. I've watched every Texas football game for the last 15 years. Less team competition, Lad competed with Bowers. I mean, Gunnar Helm, Bowers, yes, that's a good point. Gunnar Helm was not a slouch. He had 76 targets, 60 receptions, a bunch. I know Bowers had more than that, but their Texas receivers are very talented. They've got DeAndre Moore. They've got Ryan Wingo. Isaiah Bond was, Golden had to win the job over him. He had some off the field stuff, didn't end up getting drafted, but no slouch there either. Also had Jaden Blue, who was an effective pass catcher, super fast as well. What'd he catch? 42 balls. That's a lot for a college running back. That's like Alvin Kamara range receptions as a college running back. Kind of looks like Alvin Kamara to me, just not as big. Kamara's bigger. Not necessarily as fast. But what he did at Tennessee reminds me of what Blue did at Texas. So I don't know that Kamara would be a good comp for Blue because he's a lot different in size and speed. But production-wise, not too far off. Yeah, we're on the Golden train. That Ben brings up a good point. I'll accept that. More competition from Bowers could be good. Texas spread it around a lot, though. Steve Sarkisian offense, they spread it around. They manufacture touches, into rounds to receiver, all this kind of stuff. So, peace, Steve. Catch you in another one soon. Yeah, Wingo's going to be good for sure. I think so, too. There's a lot of hype on other true freshman receivers across the college landscape, at Alabama, at Ohio State, but Texas got one too in Ryan Wingo. He's going to take off with Arch Manning throwing him the ball, being a primary receiver. I think he'll develop. Be interested to see how that kind of goes, how he develops in his second year. Yeah, Nolan Higgins had great stats last year. Very true. Yep. I was weighing on Noel during the big board. I think he might have fallen too far. The argument's just that how many pass catchers can the Texans offense support, I guess is what it comes down to. But if talent can win out, Christian Kirk has had some injury bugs in the past. maybe Noel gets on the field and pays off year one in best ball. I definitely could see Noel paying off next year in best ball. Like maybe it just takes more than 1 year. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah. Well, we draft. I mean, I don't, because Wingo was a true freshman. So I don't know that he would be, but yeah, I get what you're saying. Like eventually he'll make it to the league. Yeah. There's like a size component, but size isn't everything at wide receiver. You don't always need the height. But yeah, I mean, I've seen them standing on the field next to each other at the Texans practices. Like you can obviously figure out who's Higgins and who's Noel just by looking at them. But you could tell that at when they played for Iowa State too. But I do want to go back and look at a little bit more of the Iowa State games and get some more intel on the Texans wide receivers. That'd be fun just to do for my own gratification and just to feel reinvigorated on selecting Noel where he's currently going. Yeah. Yeah, it was a very special rookie season. I guess it wasn't as crowded of a receiver room when Tank Dell broke out. Yeah, whenever. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Yeah, 100%. Nice. Okay. Big board. Oh, I mean, Best Ball Mania in the books. Tomorrow night, Who Hames on the channel, drafting Superflex teams. Be there. Come draft with us. We'll talk strategy. We'll talk about ranks, Steve's ranks, Who Hames, ideas. Monday night, Coach Speak Index. We're having Greg come on the channel to chat with Bindles and I on the Ballsy show. Be there for it. It's going to be awesome. We're preparing questions. It's going to be a great show. Going to be fun. Tuesday, Cody from Off the Schneid is going to come by, be on the channel, draft to BBM. We'll catch up with him, see what's going on. And then got more stuff cooking up, but that's a little preview. So stick around, be here for it. Appreciate you guys drafting here tonight, being active in the chat, hating on Quentin Johnston, putting Lumsky in his place. And yeah, I like them both. I think Noel is getting a little bit underrated. Appreciate you all. Have a good one. See ya real soon in another draft. Let's kick it to the outro.